Hi, in this video today, we're going to be talking about whether or not you have some worries about whether your eBay enterprise, starting an eBay store, could end up a big fat bust. So we're going to talk about the 5 top ways that you can prevent that from happening. If you start smart and if you start small, then you're going to increase your odds for success. So come on in and let's talk about this. So welcome everybody. I'm Jackie Schwartz and I am the owner of Planet Einstein along with my husband Max. We have a store on eBay called Planet Einstein, and we sell mostly vintage items that are reminiscent of my youth and Max's youth, and just things that we love that are unique and different. So you have probably been on my channel, or maybe you haven't. If this is your first time here and this is something you want to learn more about, how to have success getting an eBay store up and running and making money for you, then please click on the subscribe button, and please, if at the end of this you like what the video gave to you information wise, then please hit that thumbs up for me. I would really appreciate it. It will help my channel grow, which I just started over with the channel all devoted to eBay. Previously, I had been a marketing strategist focusing on Facebook and videos for small business owners. And during the COVID, completely changed gears. So it's a start over 7 months ago, and things are going great, but I want to share with you some of the mistakes we made and how to avoid your making those same mistakes. So let's get into it. When you set up an eBay store, I made the mistake, so don't you do this, of going out and starting to buy stuff. I thought I had to have inventory that was brand new vintage items, not brand new merchandise. But I really didn't even think about the fact that, wait a minute, maybe I need to build up some money to be able to buy my inventory later and just use the things that I have in my own house. We have a basement full of boxes that we haven't even opened since we've lived here, which has been about 6 to 7 years. So we started that later. I initially went out and bought a lot of items that were not the right things to buy. I really didn't even know what I wanted to buy at that point, but I just went out and looked at stuff and brought home stuff that in some cases 7 months later is still sitting there in my eBay store unsold. So what you can do instead, and I have this little pillow to share an example with you. I'll tell you the backstory real quickly. My mom, who we took care of during her last 4 years, we now have a white cat. We inherited Vinny from Mom when she passed away, and she had this pillow in her house, and having a white cat and a pillow with brown fabric on it are not a real good mix. So we didn't ever use the pillow, and I don't think she used it. It still has its tags on it. It is brand new, and it has been stored in a box in our basement for the past 6 years. So we are getting ready to get organized because we're going to make a local move in a couple of months, and I ran across this pillow and I went, well, that's really a nice pillow. It is like brand new, except it has a few white hairs on it just in a day of being out of its box. So this was an item, didn't cost me anything. It was stuff we already own. It was, I think, very, very sellable. I did research on it on eBay and found one other one that exists right now for sale on eBay, and it was priced, I think, maybe at $16.99, and it looked just like this one. It was obviously the same maker, and I'm thinking, all right, there's some profit that didn't cost me anything. I am going to list this pillow. And eventually, after I learned the hard way that I need to be much, much more selective about the inventory that I buy and do all the research for it in advance, see how many are out there currently on the market, what are they listed for, how many have sold in the past 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, and is the percent or the ratio of things listed versus things that are sold higher than 50%. That's called its sell-through ratio or sell-through rate. And this one clicked all the check marks. So that's number one of the 5 things you can do, is start with what you have. Learn more about what you love buying and researching and being involved with. If it's baseball cards, if it's other sports memorabilia, if it's electronics, if it's clothing, whatever is your favorite thing to do, because you are going to be spending a lot of time in that category. So if it's not something that you enjoy or care about, it will become drudgery very quickly. So that's number one. Start with what you have and learn your niche. Then get into becoming really good at doing the research and pricing your items correctly. Anybody who has something listed on eBay can charge anything they want. I could put a price on this little kitty pillow of $249. You think it will sell for that? Well, not likely. I can price it at wherever I want, but I want to price it at the most likely price that I can maximize what the profit could be, but yet have it be a reasonable price for the buyers. Buyers will tell you if it's a reasonable price or not. We use best offer on most of our listings, meaning if I had it priced at $249, they could offer me anything they want on it. There are people who will really lowball, come in and say, okay, Jackie, I'll give you $5 for it. I have the option of countering that, or just flat out rejecting it, or accepting it. So be sure that you are learning the tools you need to use to price things right, looking at the competition, looking at the solds, and calculating what the sale-through ratios are. And then number 3, let me get out my little cheat sheet here so I don't get off track. Pictures. Pictures can make or break a listing. A lot of people just do their pictures on their phone, and that's fine as long as you're using a solid background. eBay really prefers white background, solid white, but something that's all white might not show up very well, or probably wouldn't show up very well on an all white background. So the point is, don't have clutter in the background like I do here. You know, I'm not taking my pictures here. So you want the focus to be on the item. It's clear and vivid and very appealing, and from all different angles, the top, the bottom, sides. Get good pictures. You can have up to 12 pictures, but the minimum you should have is 4. Don't have any fewer than 4 pictures. So, number 4. What are keywords, and why do you need to know anything about keywords? Well, keywords, and again, this was part of my learning curve, but I already knew about keywords from being in the marketing business. Keywords are the search terms that a buyer will type into the search bar and say exactly what they're looking for, and then have eBay search for it for them and bring up all the listings that match those search terms. For example, somebody who would be looking, keep moving it to the wrong side, looking for this little pillow might type in cat pillow. Well, that's very generic, and that's what you want to put initially to get everything that could possibly show up. If it is branded and you have a brand name, for example, I did discover by looking at the tag on this that it was made by the Manual Woodworkers and Weavers Incorporated in Hendersonville, North Carolina. So I might try typing in the name of the manufacturer as well, or if it's a brand name like Nike or I just blanked, other Chaps or Ralph Lauren or Lilly Pulitzer if it's clothing, or purses by brand names. So otherwise, you can filter through those, and there are other ways you can filter once you do a keyword search, but you need to do some research. And again, there's tools out there that help make it much easier and much faster. One is called Keywords Everywhere, and I think there is a free version of that. Then they have an upgrade if you want to get more in depth with it. So that was number 3. Know about keywords and what keywords buyers will be searching for the item that you are selling. And number 5 is, where do you get the money initially if you don't have maybe $250, $500, $1,000 to go out and buy your inventory all from scratch? Well, this is the way a lot of people do it. They start with items in their home, and it was amazing how many items that we found, blenders that actually are considered vintage items now, an Oster kitchen center that has a food chopper and a meat grinder, and those are more today than we paid for it back in 1980 something. We have a new mixer, a KitchenAid now, and we don't need that one, but we've saved it all these years. It was in our basement. So if we are going to part it out and it will get more money that way, and more people will be likely to look for maybe the beaters that somehow they lost, or the bowl that came with it that got broken years ago, or just the little attachment of the meat grinder. We'll sell that separately. Other things, I had a lot of dresses that were from years ago that unfortunately I have outgrown. They were size 6 and some size 8s and no longer fit. So I have a bunch of those on my site right now, or purses that I just don't have any more interest in. But if you have old electronics, that is a real hot selling item that still work. Now you have to make sure you test them and make sure they still work. But once you get the money from those items that you already had that are free to you, don't spend that money. Save that money and build up a pool for you to then go shopping for what you have now learned. What is your ideal thing to sell? What is your niche? And whatever that is, remember, it's going to be something you enjoy, something you know something about, and something that you aren't going to get bored with because you really don't like it that much. So, do you have items in your house right now that as you think about, are they in your kitchen? Are they in your basement? Are they in your attic? I would be surprised if you don't have at least a couple of dozen things, and maybe more. So that's the way you can build some resources to go out and buy your inventory. But purchase cautiously. Do the research on it before you buy it. After you have it at home, it's too late. Although there might be a return policy where you bought it. But, I had an experience I'll share with you real quickly. I did buy an item at a thrift store last week that was still in the box, that they had taped shut and a note on saying, "Do not open," and they wouldn't let me open it. So when I got to checkout, I said, I want to see these before I buy them. And she said, well, it says do not open. I know that we counted the items and the correct numbers in there because it says that on the box. So then she said, well, our return policy will let you return it if it's not what you expected or not what you wanted. I was not happy with that, but it was a good enough item according to what the box said it was. Well, I got it home, opened it, not until the next day, and it was a totally different brand. They were used, not new. There were some screws missing. They were definitely worn. So I had to trek my little self back over to the store and return them, which was an extra trip I really wasn't planning to make. So the manager came out and apologized. She said we should not have had "do not open" box on there. Somebody mislabeled this or put the wrong information on there. So stand your ground. You need to see the item, not buy a mystery box. So I want you to have a much better chance for running out of the gate at a gallop instead of wasting a lot of time I did with buying the wrong things right off the bat. So buy wisely, use the things you have, build that pool of money, then go shopping. Okay? Thanks for being with me. If you found this valuable, please give me a thumbs up. And if you want more, subscribe to my channel. I'm doing a few videos a week right now as I'm trying to build my channel. So you could really help me out with a thumbs up and a subscribe. So thanks so much. Have a great rest of the week and weekend and day, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.